I said just enough to know you got into a fight. You know what I mean?
Exactly, exactly. Jamie Siraj, thank you so much for joining me today, man. I haven't actually chat with you for some time. I think prior to possibly before the last battlefield fight. So you got back in there tough enough and got the job done. I want to talk to you leading up to this because I go through your Tapology. We chat prior to the return. We had that video that we did, and then another health scare. Well, it wasn't even really a health scare, it was medical. The doctors didn't let you fight. And now you're on this streak of friggin' awesomeness, man. Like, tell me about how it feels for you to get back in there. You weren't very happy with your last battlefield performance, but just mentality wise, to go from where you were to coming back to be medically cleared to steps away from the octagon. Like, what goes through your mind after thinking about all this?
Yeah. I was actually just talking about this with my coach yesterday, and sometimes I think I almost get lost in forgetting like just where I was not that long ago, and I am in a very great place in my mind mentally, especially uh, realizing how close I am to making all my dreams come true when it looked like I wasn't even going to live, you know? So the fact that this is my reality and the fact that my biggest, well, not my biggest problems, but problems that are a big deal to me now are I had a shitty performance my last fight, or it's such a blessing, you know? Like my problems 2 years ago were this medication isn't working and I'm dying and I'm hospitalized, and it just um so much clouded like thoughts in my brain constantly, like I was so sick. I was just embarrassed at how I looked at the time. I like I was very close to the verge of suicide. Just that's something that is just a reality because I didn't want to keep suffering. But I stayed through it all. And
I want to
throughout that,
interrupt you quickly. What do you think it was that helped you stick through it then?
um, it's just kind of like being a fighter. You just can't give up. Like even when it seems very bleak. Um, and it was very shitty. Uh, I knew that if there was a possibility that I was going to be able to do it. And I just wanted to keep creating that possibility. I was going to exercise all options until I was dead. And yeah.
And it didn't help, obviously, doctors not realizing what was wrong or giving you answers, or the medical system here in British Columbia didn't help you out at all. So basically, it was you and your own mentality that got you through this.
Yeah, and the help of some amazing friends that were so supportive, and I needed a lot of encouragement to go through that battle, you know, and I had that. I had amazing friends that stood by me, that, you know, the amount of people and their families that extended their home to me during that time. And, it's so hard to see when you're going through it at the time. I didn't really see that I had anything in life, and in hindsight, I had so much support and so much love that was um it's honestly, it just makes me emotional even thinking about it, just in the sense
A
of
a hundred
how many.
percent, and obviously, the friends you talk about, you really truly found out who your people were and who your real friends were that stuck through you with that. Because I'm sure you posted a lot about it. You were very upfront. You were very honest, and there were people out there that saw your social media and they were the woe is me crowd saying to you, right? Like, you put up with a lot of trolls out there too. So mentality wise, it was those people that stuck by you and your own self that really got you through this. And now look at where you are, man. Like the sky is yours. It's craziness to see this, and I'm so proud of you for it because I mean, just a couple years ago, you like you said, you were knocking on death's door. So amazing work. And let's go back one fight because you had the David Briones fight, and I talked to you as you walked out the cage, and you're like, "That wasn't me in there. I don't know what was wrong with me." So let's talk about that fight before we get into the most recent one. You fought a gritty performance. He caught you. He tried to sink in submissions. You tried to sink in submissions, but it was a gritty performance on your part. You got your hand raised, but you weren't happy about it.
Yeah, no, I wasn't. I still like I can't even watch that fight without just like fuck, it's one of my least favorite fights in my career. That and my Esteban Sedana fight. I was like very certain that after I beat Abasov that I was going to get on Contender Series. When that didn't happen, I was just in this place of like, what the fuck do I got to do? Like, look at the quality of opponent I just beat. I understood after the fight why I didn't get it. I was like, if Sean Shelby watched that fight, um, but it was my first fight back in 4 years after everything. I thought, I'll give myself a pass on that one. The fight I'm pretty happy with. There was a couple things I could have let my hands go a little bit faster, like let the right hand go. I firmly believe that if that fight would have went on and we got back up to the feet, I believe I would have knocked Abasov out cold. But I ended up choking him out. Whatever. I beat him at his own game. Kind of even better. Then I'm waiting for a Contender Series call and it doesn't come. And then when I got presented the Briones fight, it was about 2 weeks out. I hadn't, it was the first time in a very long time that I stopped consistently training. I was just like, fuck, I don't think the UFC wants to sign me. I don't know what to do anymore. I don't even know if I want to keep fighting, just in the sense of like, fuck, my best years are coming up and I don't want to spend them on the regional scene. So when I took the Briones fight, I was in like, if we're going to say out of 10 fight shape, 10 is being the best version of myself. I was about a 5 or a 6. And then I was like, okay, I guess I'll go fight, keep warm, whatever. And I just went in there with like this shitty mindset. Like, to the point where my girlfriend 2 weeks before the fight is like, babe, aren't you going to go to the gym today? I'm like, what can I do? I can't get in better shape in 2 weeks. I'm just going to go fight. I had one sparring session, couple pad sessions, that was the first time I ever had done that in my career. And apart for the triangle armbar combination I got put in, which yeah was a very good one, I'll give him that. Very good. It was a little bit closer than I would have liked. I knew I knew he had amazing jujitsu. That's one thing he has, and he has power. Um, I believe, other than the triangle armbar combination, I neutralized both. But there were so many open. He had no business on the feet with me. I was touching him whenever I wanted to. The body shots hurt him. The ground and pound was there. I had a rear naked choke. I didn't have gas in my arms to keep squeezing, keep finishing. My arms gassed out trying to, and it's just a lot of rookie amateur mistakes that I would never have made if I was at my best. And that's what I was upset about. I dominated a guy who's twice the size of me for 3 rounds. And a lot of people are like, you should be happy. I'm like, I know what I'm capable of. And that is not what I am so much more than that. I could have knocked him out cold in the first, could have knocked him out cold in the third. I hurt him with a right hand, and then I fall into like a body lock and neutralize the damage that I just did. Like, I'm fighting against myself here, taking him in the strongest aspect of his game and fighting him there. Like, where was my fight IQ to just break off and just be nasty with those hands that I
Whoa, where'd you go?
have? And
There you
and
are.
yeah,
Makes sense. And then, I mean, obviously, it all turned around because you got this tough enough opportunity. Nemat I don't even want to say his last name, man. I'll butcher it. The commentators got
Abdrashitov.
the commentators got it pretty good, and I mean, you had this fight. It was a tough first round. You he the takedown didn't work. He obviously knew the game plan was, you use the hands, you get inside, you use your grittiness, and you get him to the mat, and it worked out in the end. But in the first round and whatnot, you got put in that arm triangle. Now talk me through that, because everybody and their dog was probably like, "Holy shit! How the hell did this guy fight out of that one?" Because your face turned purple, man.
Yeah, no, it was tight for a second, but he was more so like his positioning was kind of off on it, but he's so strong that he was like able to constrict my breathing even while I had the butterfly guard. Like he was holding on to it from kind of like an extended position, but I could still feel the power. Like he had a very strong static strength to him. Um it was more so than the arm triangle. He hit me with one savage ground and pound shot, actually on my throat, and I actually felt for a sec. I was like, "Oh shit! Did he?" I thought he might have punctured my lung because I
Oh,
couldn't breathe.
man.
And then he squeezes after that. It was weird. I'd never felt that before. Like, I'd never been actually hit on my throat before. I've been like obviously cross faced, but
Yeah.
he punched me in my lung, and then it felt like there was like an indent in my like neck, and I didn't even know throughout the whole fight. I'm like, I don't know if my lung is punctured or something. I mean,
Well, you
going.
fought through it, and you got the job done in the fifth round. Obviously, like I said, game plan was to get the fight to the mat, utilize your grappling, because your grappling exchanges and the flow was ridiculous. The transitions were so smooth. It was beautiful work. Um, at what point did you know that he was done? Like, was there any point in the fight where you felt, I'm taking over and this is mine? Because there were times where I was surprised you went for those heel hooks, especially after the first time when he landed that ground and pound. Like, those body shots were pretty nasty early on. And then you ended up going for it again, and you had it sunk in pretty deep. I'm surprised he didn't tap at 1.2, because there was a deep heel hook attempt. But at what point did you know, okay, the tides are turning, I'm taking over this fight?
Well, actually, one of the leg entanglements, I rewatched it because I did make some technical errors on it, but one of them I was like, yeah, I don't know how I didn't get leverage, and I saw in the replay he like grabbed the fence and stopped me from turning him. Like my whole plan with him specifically was I wanted to use the outside ashy to get him to turn so I could get to back exposure because I had seen when he had been in leg entanglements, his like shit is runaway escape. So I was like, I want to get him to turn so I can use that to climb up to his back. So but he grabbed the fence actually, and then um, probably like it just worked out. Probably wasn't the smartest idea to go back to the same thing that I thought might have punctured my lung, but it worked out. And honestly, once I used the leg entanglement to get on top of him, and I did get on top in the second. From there, I knew the fight was mine. I felt that he had put a lot of effort into hurting me early, and just seeing my composure, like, bro, this isn't shit. Like, if you watch my Abasov fight, I think people, I'm taking massive steps up in competition. I'm fighting UFC level guys right now outside the UFC. So I think he was like, oh, fuck, this guy's not going away. And I felt him slowly start to break. I felt his energy system was not necessarily his cardio. I really do feel that fight was such a mental, like, there's an aspect of watching it through a TV screen, and then there's the exchange between me and him, right? And that's
For sure,
what
yeah.
nobody would see. And I could see just little things like his eyes. I was really cold. My energy towards this fight was like really cold towards him. Didn't I didn't care about him in there, and I could feel when like he would watch me come from a bad position to a good position, that would really discourage him. And he had hit me with a couple hard shots and I wasn't going away. And then I started to hit him with hard shots and he was like, fuck. So, yeah, I felt like I was just getting to him slowly and I did.
And like I said, obviously the finish happened in the fifth. There was that one point where he held onto your gloves. There was no complaint from you from that. That was just the referee noticing that, correct? Because
Yeah.
in my opinion, I'm like, fuck, don't take the point, man. Just I want that position still.
Okay, in hindsight, I'm super glad the way it happened because I got to absolutely obliterate him with ground and pound,
Yeah.
which is a way cooler finish. But no, like if that was a 3 round fight, I believe that happened in the third or the fourth, whatever. But if I like I had that rear naked choke.
Yep.
I full like I made there was I didn't have it in the beginning. It was a little shallow. While while Tyone's warning him, I actually you watch it right as it gets separated. I have the rear naked choke, and then he takes. I thought he was separating us. We're gonna go back in, and he was gonna take a point, and then he said, "You don't get." I took a point. You don't get the position back. In hindsight, man, I had to eat a hard body kick to catch it and then get to his back. I'm like, bro, just fuck the point. I'm already winning this round. I don't care.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
I want to finish him, you know? So it was kind of, like more like people love the finish, but that's one thing that got brought to my attention more than anything. Like a bunch of people are like, why the fuck did they stand you up in that position? Like you have the best position you could have in a fight and they're standing you up. I'm like, yeah, it was I don't understand the rules from what I had a couple referees actually reach out to me and said that was one of the worst calls they've ever seen. But um
I thought so
I
too
never
because
know.
I would rather just stay on the back than take the point because you're going to win the round anyway, even if you don't get the choke, even if it wasn't sunk in. You've dominated the entire round. You have his back. The choke is almost there. Just get the referee to pull the guy's hand off of your glove and then continue.
And that was a good learning experience though for me in the middle because after that I had a because I knew the position that I had was so dominant that I did especially once I actually locked in and I readjusted. I felt that was the end of the fight. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna ruin a choke you right now, and then I had a little bit of an adrenaline dump after that. I was like, oh fuck. Like in my head, I wasn't like, okay. My mindset should have been like, okay, I get to hurt you on the feet a little bit now. I know you're tired. But instead I was like, I wanted to get back there so bad that made me make mistakes on trying to get him back down to the ground. Whereas like I kind of looked as like, I just want to get you right back there because I feel you wilting. That I should have really used that fourth round to start hurting him with my striking. That in hindsight is a smarter idea. But I mean, I like to learn the hard way, I guess, and it
Yeah.
paid off in the end. So it's
So
all.
I mean, you did, you typically you hear, you learn more from your losses than your wins, but it sounds like you took a ton away from this fight.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, there were some technical errors I made in the first and the second. I was trying this one forced takedown that I do hit it a lot in the gym, but it didn't work against him. He had really good hit position. I'm always a person like I'm so self critical of myself. Like I have so many things I need to work on. Um, and just adjustments, not even so much certain things with with just technique, but like, oh, okay, I felt like I addressed a major hole in the way I was training that I used to do prior to being sick that I kind of forgot about. And then um, there was something that I didn't do that made stand up very tiring for me for this fight. I was very tired on the feet, but I had tons of energy on the ground. So I'm really just excited to fight again as soon as I can, so I can just let my hands show people like how dangerous my hands are too. Because even in the fifth round, I started to hit him with shots, and I was like, yeah, multiple times at the fight, I would still catch him on the feet. And I'm like, I should keep going with this momentum because I know I can knock you out too. Like I felt like I overestimated his power on the feet watching him prior, and I
Okay.
should have been more confident that yeah, these guys that you're knocking out aren't me, bro. Like I'm a way better boxer. I'm a way better kickboxer than all these other guys that you fought. So I really feel like in the fifth I could have knocked him out too, but I got a very nasty finish. So I'm happy with it.
You definitely did. And that's what I wanted to ask is, if you got the decision here, it was definitely a dominant fight in itself. But the finish is what, Dana and Sean Shelby and all those guys are likely looking for. Like you said, you were surprised you didn't get the call after that first return fight. Then not the call after the Briones fight. So this finish has to seal the deal. And how hungry were you for that finish there? Because there was times where he looked like he was trying to give you back exposure so that you would swing around to the back. He could have defended and whatnot late there in the fifth when you got the finish, but instead you landed those elbows and those strikes to really feel and finish the guy in the fifth round. Was finish or bust sort of the case there from that position at that point?
Yeah, definitely. Well, like even in the third, I had mount and I had the back. So if this was a 3 round fight in the third, I would have done the same thing. I would have just started smashing the way I did in the fifth. But there is a reality of just you have to fight different if it's a 25-minute fight. I actually got to speak with Sean Shelby after the fight, and he said, he's like, contender series guys, they like to come out and they sprint. And I said, yeah, you could come out and sprint in a 25-minute fight, but if you come out sprinting and you got 4 more rounds, or even if you could fight 1 round gassed, everyone that's a high level fighter can fight 1 round tired. So, but now I got to add 4 more rounds to that. You know what I mean? So I knew that the longer Nemat was in there with me, the worse it was going to get for him. I believe that I'm a more technical fighter, and I believed that I was stronger, uh, more powerful, and grittier. I knew I was grittier because I've seen breaking points in him. I don't think you've ever watched me fight and see, oh, I'm broken. You're never going to break me. So I wanted to drag him into deep waters. My mentality was like, I think I posted it multiple times, like deep waters, and I'm gonna drown you in there, and that was my mentality. I'm just gonna maul you. I did an interview with James Lynch the other day, talking about it. I'm going to take him down. I'm going to maul him. I'm going to hurt him, and this camp was so different than the other ones. I felt like this camp, I wanted to ride momentum off of a shitty, well, not a shitty performance, but a performance I'm not happy with. I want to take this fuel and I want to show myself. I don't care about other people right now. I didn't care about the UFC for this. I cared about proving to myself that I am the savage that I was before I got sick. And that's all I cared about this fight. I was in a darker place, not in a bad place. I was in a darker place in the sense of I want to punish you. You think that you're the man being this brave FC champion. You probably think I'm some easy fight. You're down in Vegas with all these guys probably telling you how easy of a fight I am. I'm going to hurt you. And that's the point I wanted to make. And um, yeah,
Well, I'm glad you did. And like you said there though, you said I spoke to James Lynch and I told him I'm going to maul this guy. But there are the cases, every pre-fight interview a guy says that, right? And then reality sets in, and like you said, your last fight you didn't even really train, but I'm sure in your pre-fight interviews you said, oh, I'm going to steamroll this guy. So this one was actually reality, which is fantastic. You also said there you spoke with Sean Shelby following the fight. Not going to get into details of what was said there, but you were speaking to other people through the cage after you finished the fight. What was that all about?
Yeah, I was just speaking to Jason. I was just speaking to my manager Jason and my manager Jacob, and I was just like, "Fuck, man, do you think that's enough?" And then I didn't even realize that Sean Shelby was like sitting right beside them pretty much till afterwards. I saw it on the video. I was like, "Oh shit, I should have been talking to him." But yeah, man, they just were like, I forget exactly. They're just like, "Holy shit, that was savage." And then "Do you think it's enough? Do you think it's enough?" And then I mentioned, I'd mentioned a little bit just how shitty the weight cut was. I was like, "Oh god, I hope we'd hold up after that weight cut." My god, I was like, "Oh shit."
Now, with the win streak and the finish here, I know you said you thought you'd get the contender series shot. You thought you get it after the last fight. Is contender series what you really want? Because I'd think that UFC's coming to Seattle coming up here pretty soon. I think there might be another Canadian show in 2025. Like, I don't think you need to go to the contender series route at this point. Your record is proven. Your resume is through the roof. Obviously, you'll take whatever avenue you get, but do you think contender series, because that's not even a contract yet?
You know, I will say this: Sean Shelby thinks I don't want to toot my own horn. From what I hear and from what our conversation went, he likes me a lot as a fighter. It's just a matter of right opportunity, right timing. And that's kind of all I'll say for right now is right opportunity, right timing. And there is a lot of right opportunities and right timing that are going to be in my near future. So
Amazing. I
I,
mean, like if you look at your resume, the last time you lost was 2016 to Cole Smith, who went on to go into the UFC. So really, I mean, you got to get in there. So like you're saying, right timing. Hopefully, it happens sooner rather than later. Very soon, because obviously, other than that cut on your eyebrow there, I'm sure you're pretty damn good. You said your mental game is strong. Your physical game is strong. I'm sure. How'd you celebrate this? Did you celebrate a little bit in Vegas or what?
No, me, my lady, Kjan, and Joey Foy, we just went to Shake Shack. We went to Shake Shack. Got a couple burgers. I had a couple milkshakes, and my lady with the baby coming up. Clubbing isn't. I mean, clubbing isn't in our near future. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I just dadded it out. You know what I mean? Just had a burger, had a shake, went back to the hotel room. Uh, it was a very sore sleep. I finally just got a good sleep last night. I was like, oh my god, my body's just feels like I got hit by a truck. So yeah, man, just been chilling out, eating a bunch of shitty food and just hanging out, man.
Amazing, man. Well, we'll have to get some shitty food here pretty soon. So,
100%,
congratulations,
brother.
congratulations on the fight. Congratulations on the baby news, man. Super proud of you. Can't wait to see what's next. If you want, the floor is yours. Give some shout outs, man.
Yeah, I just want to thank my whole team, Pinnacle Martial Arts, my coach Kajan, Joey Foy, the way he stepped up and is always there for me this camp, Coach Dennis, Achilles, Radley, Naveed, all you guys for pushing me. I want to thank a sponsor of mine, PDB Incorporated. This guy just the jobs that he does, amazing jobs on all of his facilities that he's built. And this guy made this training camp possible. Everyone from Catalyst, my amazing lady, for all the treatments that she gave me this camp, Catalyst Kinetics, Connie Linder from Intention.com, and yeah, yeah, just everyone that's been sending me so many kind messages and so much support. I feel very blessed. I feel very grateful, and I feel like my life is going in a very good direction, and I'm just incredibly grateful for it all. And everyone that's supporting me right now, it, you know, it's very much appreciated and all love.
As I said, Jamie, man, I'm super proud of you as well, man. I can't say it enough. Like, to see how far you've come from where you were I mean, I saw you fighting as a 16-year-old kid to going through the health scare to where you're at now. Super proud of you, man, and can't wait to see what's next.
I appreciate you so much, bro. And yeah, like I was saying, there's a lot of people that throughout that time that were very good to me and very supportive, and you're always one of them, man. You always just send me as many nice messages you can, asking what you could do for nothing in return, man. And I love you, bro. You're the fucking man, Jeremy. And yeah, bro, it's so good to talk to you, man.
Thanks, buddy.